Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another video. This one is very special because it's been an interesting talk with I.N.R.I, the frontman of Primordial. I.N.R.I, thank you very much, man, for your time. I appreciate it. It was a real honor. I want to thank also the guys Franco and the rest of the crew, including RisingMoon Productions, for the warm welcome. Franco and Andrea, if you don't know, they're the men behind Ragnarok Festival in France, and they drove like 7 hours to be there or something, and I had no clue they were going to be there, and yeah, I found it a bit funny to talk in French with a bunch of people in the middle of Barcelona. Also, I'm gonna make a shout out to the guys of I.N.R.I. Thanks guys for our talk in the merch table and you know, everything. Talking about agalok, black metal and good stuff.
So we could probably shut this door.
Yeah.
With less blues.
Alright. So, what's up, man?
Not much.
Alright, so how's Spain to Primordial since the beginning and now? How is it evolving? In terms of audience, of course.
Well, oddly enough, like we were talking earlier on our way here to Barcelona.
Right.
When was the last time we played here? And I thought it was 2 or 3 years ago, but it turns out it was 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So
it turns like Primordial is always like that, right?
first time we played here was maybe in 2000, and it kind of comes and goes. Like you get maybe 2 or 3 shows in a a 1 or 2 year period, and then we don't play for a while. And the big problem that Spain and Portugal kind of had for a while was that when all the tours in Europe stopped,
flights, right?
No, not that, but European tours stopped coming down to Spain and Portugal.
Yeah, and
they came more to the central and north, because of the recession and stuff. So, no, the shows have always been good. It's kind of a bit weird. We've never played like a festival in Spain. There just isn't really any, it would seem to me.
All right. There's actually a bunch, but they're not like in the black metal spectrum.
Sure. Yeah, they're all
it's heavy and
big hard rock bands.
Resurrection and Leyendas del Rock and stuff like that.
Yeah, Resurrection is quite new, I think. But
it has at least 12 years.
Oh, is it? Okay, okay. I think we're probably too small for it, but anyway. So yeah, we've never played like any 500 to 1,000 people festivals in Spain. I don't know why. Portugal some, yes, but I don't know.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, it's good anyway.
And talking about the fans in general, what's up with the Greeks ones?
The Greek ones?
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah.
They love you there.
Yeah, I don't. Well, Greeks have an expression that they kind of call Irish people the Greeks of the North or something like this. So they have a kind of, I think, what they believe is a cultural affinity with Irish people. And this kind of concept of the pigs, Portugal, Irish, Greece and Spain. The economic countries left out on the edges of Europe, and so I think they, like Irish people, see themselves as outsiders from the sort of Central European, structure.
Which is an island. Or?
Yeah, which is true. So, but no, we always kind of whatever we did resonated pretty strongly in Greece. Yeah, they've always been really very cool.
Yeah. I watched a few live videos and it's just insane.
Yeah,
the power there is just.
Yeah, no, it's a great place. I mean, we've always had.
Even if you played in like tiny venues and stuff.
Yeah. Well, they're just passionate people.
Yeah, passionate.
Well, and you get especially sometimes we have great shows. We're lucky we still have great shows in fucking Finland and Sweden and places like this. But there is sometimes something about the sort of almost kind of vibrant energy of kind of southern kind of crowds. When they really get into it. But it's cultural. There's some places where it seems nothing you can do and people just stand and watch a few different areas of different countries. But no, Greece is cool.
Yeah. How's 2017 going so far for you guys?
Quickly.
Quickly, yeah. 4 months gone like this.
Yeah, the older you get, the quicker it goes all the time. So, no, it's been, we It seems like to us not too long since we made the last album, but people are already saying to us, "Oh, it's like a year and 10 months ago," and "Oh, is it really?" And time just
It's Primordial.
yeah. Of
We
course.
don't want an album every 3 years.
Glacially slow. Yeah. No, it's I think it's we just keep doing these sort of weekends here and there in different territories.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're working guys and stuff.
Yeah, and also because festival culture has kind of killed off touring a little bit, because no one wants really to play on a Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday anymore. I mean, if you're part of a big travelling tour with 4 or 5 big bands that does bring out some young people, then people can get excited for Monday, Tuesday. But I don't know whether the touring model of Monday to Thursday works so well anymore,
Yeah, I see.
At least for us, we try, and it's better to have every gig to be a Saturday night, so and you can do whatever your other stuff is during the week or whatever.
Yeah, okay. About 2017, I heard in a recent interview, a video interview actually, that you said that you were discussing about next material and stuff.
Talking about talking.
Yeah, talking about talking. That's
yeah. Well, actually, we think something will happen this year. I mean, I couldn't tell you any titles or plans or anything, but
this year.
Yeah, I think so. We're talking
right.
about being a bit quicker with things and maybe trying to. I mean, yeah, there's it kind of goes in stages, The wheels start to turn very slowly in the beginning, and then they gather pace, and we're sort of at that period where you're just pushing the rusty lever, trying to just about start things. So yeah, it takes a while, but there's talks about talks.
Talks about talks. Then we will start writing.
Something like that.
Riffs and stuff. All right. Talking about albums, Gods to Godless live album just came out. How was the reception, first of all?
It's great, yeah. I mean, it's Bang Your Head Festival has always been very cool to us. It's more traditional hard rock festival.
You played many times there.
Yeah. We played there on the same stages as like Wasp and Y&T and Tesla and Journey, and
it's like rock.
It's hard rock, yeah. They very rarely have anything hard, or even as gloomy as what we are. But the guys there took a chance on us booking us the first time, and they're kind of Primordial is a mainstream heavy metal band in that sense. We are just about in, I guess, but there is still for mainstream hard rock people, they wouldn't exactly know who we were, and you could see when we come out, they're like,
what the fuck is that?
But the difference is that we have singing.
Yeah, and you turned from growling to singing. Screaming.
Well, so the dude standing there in the, I don't know, the Wasp shirt can go, or the Maiden shirt and the Priest shirt can go, there's some harmony here.
This guy's voice is amazing.
So they
I think so, at least.
they can get, there's something there for them to grab onto,
Yeah.
So it worked, and then basically the last time we played there, they said, oh, by the way, we have a mobile recording device. Do you want us to record it for you? And I think I said yes, but then forgot about it.
Yeah.
So we didn't plan on making the live album.
It was just
just there.
Yeah.
And then they sent it to us, and then
what is that?
I listened to the kind of the threads, and I was like, oh, this was pretty good actually. So we mixed it, and yeah, it's just like if people thought we were boring before, I don't think it's going to change their mind, but it could be a good place perhaps for people to start with the band maybe.
Yeah.
If you've never heard it before. And also it looks really nice on vinyl. It's a collector's
sounds
item.
fucking amazing.
Yeah, the sound is
amazing.
Yeah, the sound is great, and also there's not a single overdub.
Yeah.
We didn't fix a single
Basically
thing.
what you played, it's on the vinyl.
And it's very hard to mix a live album, because if you think about it, the drum mics are picking up the guitar. When I'm not singing and I'm holding the vocal mic up like this or something, you're getting the ambient noise. So you can't mix an individual drum. You can't mix an individual tone. You can get maybe 70%, but they're not isolated. So all the channels generally are all leading into each other. So it's actually quite a skill to mix a live album, I think. So in that sense, that's why so many bands basically cheat and replace the parts.
Yeah.
Because they want to have that isolated sound.
And they want it perfect.
Yeah, but obviously we don't care about that because it's full of unknowns and mistakes.
Yeah. I want deep stuff.
Yeah. So, but we didn't overdub anything, and basically, like, it was just satisfy part of my own romantic view of being a kid and looking at the inside of Live After Death, or you know, Hell in a Bad Place to Be, or UFO Strangers in the Night, or Life and Dangerous, to be able to look at that and go, oh, you know, there's something about the 70s and early 80s bands that the live album was part of the mythology, which, even if no one cares about it, I sort of wanted my own, my own version, you know.
Yeah, and that old school actually production.
Yeah.
Of that years were amazing.
I mean,
I think I miss it at least.
Well, I mean, this is what I, you know, it's kind of running conversation in Primordial. I mean, personally, because, you know, with my other band, Dread Sovereign, we play all live together in the same room and record, and everything bleeds into everything. We don't separate anything. Generally, it's all everywhere, and you play everything live. Then you do maybe a few guitar bits, a few vocals, but it has to be all like that. So all the tones are pushed right into the red, and all the needles, like, and you get distorting, curving, frequencies and all sorts of. But to me, that's how a band plays in a room live. Like, I think if Black Sabbath could do that, everyone should do that. So I'm an advocate of play in the room, put the mics in, do it all, like, and I'm not into the over harmonizing, whatever. But you know, because I'm you know, not a guitar player. So there's a compromise to be made. But definitely with the live album, it appealed to a sort of more instant nature, you know. So.
All right. So I was going to ask you about Dread Sovereign. So the latest album is called For Whom the Bell Tolls, right?
For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Yeah. So what is this album
best title
about?
Ever.
Yeah. I actually like it. And actually the cover arts, the two albums, they're similar.
Yeah.
They depict like executions and stuff.
It's kind of it's a bit weird. It's like in the last song on the first album, it's called Transmissions from the Devil's Star.
Yeah.
Bear with me, this is how my mind works. So the song is about there's a statue of Saint Bartholomew outside the Duomo in Milan, who was flayed alive, holding his skin like this, you know, and he's like standing like this, very intense statue. When I was a kid, I went to Milan and saw this statue, and I remember dreaming about it and becoming quite obsessed with the character.
I get it.
And then I read in Mark Twain, his journal of touring Europe, he saw the same statue and he had the same dreams. Similar.
Fuck.
So the song is about Saint Bartholomew coming to Mark Twain in a dream, and then the second part of the song is the other way around. Mark Twain is present at Bartholomew's crucifixion and flaying, and they kind of speak to each other, you know. Okay. So the three characters on the front of the first album are the people flaying Saint Bartholomew. So for the new one, I found that the first woman hung in Salem in 1692 was called Sarah Vildez Averill, same name as me, from the same region of England. So the tenuous link that she's like some distant relative of mine. So, and you see in the inside of the vinyl, you see her death warrant. So I decided that she should come to me in a dream, which is the first song, and say, never stop singing about Satan, so my death won't be in vain. So I linked the two sets of dream sequences together, and put the three characters performing the crucifixion and the hanging on the two covers. There you go. That's why they're on there. It's a bit odd, but it's basically, I can't write the same lyrics as in Primordial or the Blood Revolt or Void of Silence. I have to find a completely different angle. So this sort of odd, blasphemous, occult sort of I don't know, angle is a whole new thing. And also just very strange things. I mean, where you're going to listen to a song which is Mark Twain talking to Saint Bartholomew in a dream. But anyway, so that's the reason.
That's actually what I like about your lyrics, because they're kind of personal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you put yourself in there.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
and it feels in the music
they're
itself.
they're different disciplines. Like there's things I could write about in Dreshoven I could never write about in Primordial.
Right.
Dreshoven I'm kind of free to do whatever I kind of I want to, you know. Whereas Primordial there's certain things which I couldn't write lyrics quite like that, and Primordial would seem a bit weird. But it's just a case of if I've written words for maybe 12 albums, that's a lot of words. So you have to find ways of reinventing the wheel a bit, you know.
Yeah.
So taking something like that story for Dreshoven is something. It's a totally different way of writing. Trying to write in the first or third person and write a narrative like a story.
Yeah.
This kind of thing, you know. Instead of I this, I that, it's a character does this thing, you know. So yeah, it's just different disciplines, you know. But it's a challenge, different one.
All right. I like to call primordial lyrics dealing with the human condition.
Oh yeah, I guess they are somehow.
That's the only way to a summary.
It's a very broad summary, but it's a summary.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, sort of everything is, but.
I mean, there's a religion, there's society, there's politics, there's
Yeah.
state building, there's...
Well, so the definition then really is that, I think, is that I never wanted to write about fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no
real stuff.
There's no fantasy, there's no escapism, which is very un-heavy metal, because that's one of the traditional staples of heavy metal. It's, you know, if there is something which seems mythological, it's a metaphor
for a real thing.
Yeah, just for a real thing. So yeah, I just have no, even from the first days, the band was just like, I'm not writing, you know, fantasy, folklore, mythology. Like the Coffin Ships is fact, not fiction.
Yeah.
So even though it's about, you know, something connected to Ireland, it's not brave. Cuchulainn did some imaginary deed in the year of imaginary, and you know, this kind of stuff. It's not my style, because I think that it should be, the lyrics should be at least inclusively understood. That maybe if you're from Peru to Palestine, you can see the themes of alienation, martyrdom, all these kind of things, you know, within your framework of your own cultural reference or whatever. So.
Exactly. All right. So talking about Ireland and the Coffin Ships, how was life in Dublin back in the early days, and what changed now? What is still permanent? And also, I heard that you guys didn't start the band as friends.
No, not really. No.
Yeah. So what made you play with each other? There wasn't many people playing metal.
An ad. It's just it's a bit different, because I answered an ad. And I mean, lots of other bands would maybe start because they were a couple of friends, and somebody had a guitar and went, I can do a bit of Slayer and blah blah blah. But you know, I answered an ad, and it is true. Like for years we weren't really friends. It took us a while to become that, and we just sort of. I think it's because the nature of Ireland at the time was pretty
rough,
miserable. But yeah, a bit miserable and a bit gloomy sometimes, and there wasn't many opportunities. If you were kind of for youth too, wasn't many civic opportunities that society gave you to deal with the way the country was. So playing in a band was a way out of, or having your statement against the sort of nature of, the society at the time, which was pretty poor or whatever. And so we kind of did it really because we sort of had to. The difference was that many of our bands who were at the time where our friends were, their rehearsals were more, everybody would meet, bring beers, smoke weed, jam. Ours was never like that. We were very serious.
Yeah, you wanted to do something.
Right from the start, like, kind of. Took us a while to get a sound, but we were always much more serious. So, but I mean, it's just, the Irish thing was really not something I ever wanted to overplay. Like I never wanted to be like a, how we say, flag waving or populist Irish. Like there's elements of Irish traditional music underpinning
on the drums,
sound.
for example.
Yeah, underpinning the sound of some of the notes and structures. But I was never into the the real obvious harmony stuff and writing about I wanted the band to be inclusive,
Yeah.
as I said. So I didn't want to just write about how it feels to be Irish, because there's this kind of small
How it
audience.
feels to be human and dealing with stuff.
Yeah, and also the heavy metal thing of making it a grand statement.
Yeah.
Where the
It
fighting
is.
man or whatever,
Yeah.
a big chorus, to me is very important. That grand gesture that's present in old heavy metal, that kind of got lost a bit in some of the black pagan metal stuff that I wanted to sort of bring back a bit of that. It's like part poet, part hooligan, bring back a huge chorus
Yeah.
every now and again. So that if you saw us live, it could strike you.
It's like actually a Mitlery song.
Well, what is if you saw the band live and you've never heard it before, it could strike you like,
Yeah.
what? Not only the seriousness of it, that there's musical depth, but also the diction, the clarity of the intent.
And you're very tight.
Yeah, but what I mean is the clarity of the intent was very obvious.
Yeah,
Not just,
Yeah.
that you could just, I don't know.
You're reaching people and
Yeah. So, that was kind of important. So that was trying to make that division pretty clear,
All right. Yeah, last question. It's about
Okay.
Antifa attacks
Oh, great.
on Marduk, Pest Noir, and Brexit.
Brexit.
And, yeah, and the US politics. All of this is not good for music. What you can tell me about it? What do you think?
It's a very complicated question.
Yeah.
I think that I think that any group that is maybe problem really is that is more of a broader question in modern society, which is that the division between the traditional divisions between left and right have almost become full circle. Have actually, it's like the needle has been pushed so far to the end that it's actually broken, so to speak. And I think that what's happened is that the middle ground where the debate should be had has been removed systematically, and that like say for example, we're living in an age of say fake news, okay?
Yeah.
So people from, let's call it the new left, for argument's sake, will see the worth of fake news if it portrays something they disagree with in a negative light as justified by virtue of the ideals behind that, as opposed to whether it's true or not. So the debate, for example, with a man like Marduk, there's no conversation with Marduk. It's just, here's all this stuff, and now let's try and get their shows banned. What it is, it's an exercise of, it's a sort of bullying tactic, an anonymous bullying tactic, which can happen if you put pressure on a local bar owner who thinks to himself, are we going to get the Berkeley riots down outside my bar? I don't need this negative press. I don't need this, that, the other. But you're not going to see them come down outside a big show. Because, at the end of the day, it's about economics. And, a big show bringing in a ton of money isn't going to just, fall to pressure.
Yeah.
The biggest problem, I think, if I was in the Antifa, the biggest problem, I think, is that now they aren't anonymous anymore. They're everywhere. Joe Rogan is talking about them. People, obviously, in the American government now know about them. There's YouTube channels. There's stuff everywhere about them. And the ability to do things in anonymity and have
autonomous
groups, is a tradition of activism on the left and the right, But once that has been kind of removed and people are aware, I've never heard so many people talking about the Antifa. I mean, I have friends in the Antifa and I know people in the Antifa for 25 years.
Yeah.
Now everyone, my sister and stuff, what's going on with this? And it's like, this is bad news for them, because everyone is now, because we're living in an age where politics is a meme. And think about this, right? You're recording me on this thing, right?
Yeah.
The technology already exists for voice and face recognition. That if you have the technology, you can have me saying anything in this segment.
Basically,
Yeah,
I can
basically.
cut it and
Already, it's the CGI quality of it, and you can go. Someone could cut it to 41st second go. Alan from Primordial says blah blah blah, and it's out there as fake news. I haven't got a hope of saying, hey, by the way, and then someone follows all your shows, cancels them. This is the future. This is going to happen on both all the time. More. Both sides are going to. The war of ideals will be greater than the debate or the truth, and therefore everything will be justified. And one person can. I mean, the technology already exists to place the walking image of Putin. Probably, is he in a bombed-out hospital in the Crimea, or is he in Chechnya, or is he not there at all, or is it stock footage? Is it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
So very soon, somebody could take this interview and have me saying anything. So soon you're going to have to see artists saying nothing, not doing interviews anymore. Unless the whole situation comes. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a free speech debate, right? The I.N.R.I will say that no platform to fascists, but who is declared a fascist is on their terms.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's basically if you're guilty as accused and guilty if you defend yourself. So it's on their terms, and to be honest, many of their terms just would seem to be anything that you disagree with on any completely arbitrary.
Yeah.
But the other problem, I mean, there's so many myriad problems in this, and also I think what's happening across America is, me and my friends were talking about it, and I think it perfectly sums it up as now that there's LARPing activists, live action role playing at being activists, and so you have the anonymous culture of the mask, and you can go, oh, we feel strong in a gang, mob rule, and we can go out in the street and no one knows who we are, and this kind of thing. And that encourages people to, I call it, this inactive humanitarianism.
Yeah.
Which is it's like meme politics. Everyone.
Activism that doesn't serve anything.
But it's more profound than that. It's like I listen to people talking to me about blah, 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 politics. Like I've always been interested in politics.
Yeah, I know.
And I said to some of my friends, you've never been interested in this. What the fuck are you talking about? It's like everyone is, we use the expression, woke. It's like all of a sudden everyone is identifying with minorities. Everyone is a victim.
Yeah.
Everyone is being wound up by the narcissistic urge of social media to always share every idea at all times. So an entire generation of teenagers have grown up only ever vomiting forth their opinion at all times. Now they're getting to college age and they're like, yeah, let's put fucking masks on and go out and LARP at being activists. But I think especially in America what they don't realize is the people they're picking fights with are patriots. Not nationalists, but patriots. Yeah. Which includes tens of thousands of war veterans, blah blah blah. It's only a matter of time before some cunt in a camouflage thing comes down and just shoots like tons of people. Because they're very different in Europe to America. You can cut that bit out if you want. No, it's only a matter of time before it's a totally different fight than in Europe. In America, it's something very strange, very populist, very odd happening. In Europe, I think at the end of the day, what we learn from, if we learn anything from people, like I don't want to live in either state that belongs to the far left or the far right. But the reason why they exist in times of turmoil is to haul us into the middle to talk to each other on whatever terms those might be. And if you systematically try and shut down the debate, the conversation, then, do you know what I mean? Everything exists in its own echo chamber. Everyone only talks to the people they agree with. Nothing ever, the amount of times I've talked to people and I said, really, you think that? Well, what about this? And they've just gone, because no one in their circle of friends will ever say,
if there's no debate, we have more divisions, and it goes like that.
Yeah, or you say, well, does Assad really have chemical weapons? What do you mean? Yeah, but it was on the news. Yeah, but did he really do that to his own people? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Well, but it was on BBC. It doesn't mean anything. It's just, so once you begin to go down that road of questioning the narrative behind nearly everything, it leads you to a very dark place, which most people, I understand, don't want to be in that. frame of mind, because once you accept that, you know, everything has a narrative, and there's so many different, you know, there's so many different machines pulling in different directions, trying to. I don't know. We're living in crazy times, like, because I think that if you think about this, look at something like Facebook. If you don't pay for something, you're not a consumer. You're a commodity, right?
Basically.
Okay. It's not a tool. You're the tool. Do you know what I mean?
They use you, yeah.
So the algorithm of Facebook separates us. Social networking, the beautiful thing of what the internet promised is turned out to be a dark nightmare, in my opinion, because it separates us from talking to each other, and the algorithm, which is AI generated, as far as I can see, separates us from anyone we may disagree with. So then, if everybody spends all their life online, when they actually meet someone who might disagree with them, they can't.
They're blocked.
Well, it's not just that they can't handle it. They jump up and down. And, you know, we're living in it's the snowflake generation or whatever. You know, I don't like these kind of broad populisms, but people are losing the ability to have a conversation.
Yeah,
and,
we do. Yeah.
You know, and you see that. You see this on the. I mean, I think I'll finish with this. I think that college campuses are the breeding ground for the new aristocracy. Only the kids don't realise they're the aristocracy. They're not the French peasants. And right now the working class, the actual working class, is building a gallows for them, but they don't realise it. And it's going to be called sweeping populism. And if they don't address it and learn how to, lose. Like, you know, I had somebody say to me, you know, something about Trump, Bush doesn't look so bad now. And I said, did he not?
Did you forget?
Did he not kill 450,000 people in Iraq? What Trump done as president? Well, yeah, but you know, he said. Well, okay, well, but I remember Ronald Reagan. So, you know what I mean? Like, you have to learn how to lose. You have to learn that the pendulum swings back and forth, and you have to learn how to make compromises with the one side or the other. And this is an ability we've totally lost, you know. Blah 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 blah. No, man, I don't know. I feel honestly, I feel like clocking out. I feel like just finding some place nobody fucking knows. You know, I don't know. Going to live in Slovenia. Somebody sell me some land in Slovenia. No, it's look, man. People need to speak to each other because the compromise has to be reached, and that's the history of how conflicting sides reach agreement. It's how every terrorist organization is brought in from the cold by every government that needs to speak to them. You don't get anywhere by just screaming and shouting and going, well, we shut you down, we safe spaced you, Because believe me, when someone else's turn comes to do it to you, they're going to do it tenfold, you know, and they're waiting to clean, you know. Anyway.
It's gonna explode on you.
No worries.
Thank you, man.
No worries.
Thank you for everything.
No worries. Thank you. Sorry, blah blah blah. You got me on this.
No, it's amazing. That's why I did the interview.